Okay, welcome back, everyone, to the Daily Live for reclaiming being the supreme authority of our reality, using the Lawofassumption to hold the throne, to really know what it's like to actually not only assume the state of the wish fulfilled, but assume your entire world is truly yours and it's here to reflect what you want. And to finally get past the delays, the stagnancy, the reacting, I think most importantly, and just like the powerlessness that can come with the unconditioning of all the different assumptions we were taught. We've been revealing them, we've been untangling them, we've been transmuting them, eating them, and then really directing our senses to stop passively observing and start to generate and to use our imagination for what it's really built for, to constantly project, generate, call forth your wish fulfilled at all times. So there's no need to wait. Never need to wait. Never need to be in anything less than what you want your own personal paradise to be. Okay? So like I said, if you've been following along, thank you for keeping it going. We're just going to keep going, but I believe tomorrow will be our last night. We'll see where we end up tonight. But then I will be coming on lives here and there. Otherwise, I'm just going to be doing this upcoming course that I've been putting together that is all about really generating and mastering the senses to finally bring an end to any reactions and whatever those long-standing manifestations you've been persisting with, permanent wealth, health, love, happiness, joy, power. Instant manifestation, that is what I'm honing in on for the ones that are ready to go there. Definitely more of an advanced attunement, if you will, but the ones that are ready will be all for it. So I'm excited for that. And then for everyone that's new, be sure to follow along from the beginning with this workshop we've been doing. I definitely find every day different, downloads, different revelations are coming through, different expansions of consciousness, and then I just share it. I share so we can just attune together. We can expand our consciousness together and generate our senses together. And I do find, as I've been looking back, it all comes at the perfect time in place. And bending time is another thing that I find so important with generating the senses. When we get free of the time game and the scarcity and the waiting, and you realize that what you are generating right now is what's real, you're free of the time. You're free of the when, how, who. And when you know that what you're generating is the real deal, you're free of the reaction. But what I really find is mastering getting these senses to see it now, hear it now, feel it now, build it around me in this moment to maintain that wish fulfillment. Not only is it deeply pleasurable, because I find that's what the senses were here to do. We were just conditioned out of it. But the expansion of my own wish fulfillment just gets bigger and bigger. I realize how much so many of my wish fulfillments that haven't maintained were smaller. They were so conditioned and still based on reacting to a reality versus as I've been building this and getting more clear of I see it here, I hear it here, and I don't care when it materializes because it's mine already. I have that certainty from the repetition, mind you. It for me, it still takes repetition, absolutely. But as I am getting more tuned in and I'm seeing it, honestly, a fun challenge at this point of oh yeah, I can see it, I can hear it, I can touch it, I can feel it. And the things that at first, I was I don't know what that smells like, I don't know what that looks like. Now I'm oh no, I get it now. And then of course my reality mirrors more ideas. It mirrors more but what about this and this? And now it's becoming way more interactive. And like I said, pleasurable, where I feel before there would be obviously periods of such loss and trauma. And it was just I have to do this to survive. Now I can feel my nervous system and parts of me just really getting into a thriving state as I'm generating more and more. And now these wish fulfillments are getting so much more expansive. It's incorporating such a bigger picture, which I do find also there's way less resistance in that. When I really see a massive scope, I don't want this, yes, I want this thing to happen, this communication or this type of I don't know, like interaction or whatever. But then when I see it on a bigger global scale, right? Because then you start to see your whole world as yours. And then it's like, let me see this as a global thing. If I'm really the operant power, then I can see the whole world representing that. If the whole world is my consciousness, then I can see 6 billion people tuned into it. And there's something so profound, and I find strangely, it's probably not strange, there's no resistance. It's just like, oh, and then it really starts to solidify like the full wish fulfillment. And, I'd be interested to hear in the comments, something I've noticed on this many year-long journey of manifestation is I do find as like, I'll get the initial wish fulfillment and I'm like, okay, that's what it looks like, that's what it smells like, that's what it tastes like. And usually there's a moment of certainty. And then I go onto the bridge and I go through different states of it and different elements. And then I kind of do the spiral of it. Like I'll be listening to my scripts or meditations and I'm like, oh, I'm going through that thing again. But now there's an added level of detail that I didn't have before. And I'm adding to it and it's just expanding. And to me, that is the bending time that every time I do it, it is mine. I'm still not waiting for it to happen. It's just getting more detailed. It's getting more solidified. It's a bigger picture than what I could even have glimpsed, right? Time frames before that. Would love to know in the comments others' experience with this, right? So yes, the course will be very much like on that mastery of like getting so specific with the senses and really having a pleasurable experience. And essentially like I use a lot of techniques. And if you did my Commanding Love course, there's explicit content, there's more sensual content, because the more arousing it is to our senses, the more we're like, yeah, okay, I can really feel that now. And we bring more passion and excitement and bliss into it. And it's a more visceral sensation. And that's something I can really only do in the course, not here. So we'll be doing more of that. That will be cool. So for the rest of tonight, what we're going to do, yesterday we talked about revising. This is going to be more revising. And now it talks more about revising so it's not exhausting. And this is like it's a big thing where we are manifesting. We kind of get into that efforting, trying mode. I know myself, this is probably one of my biggest patterns is I will get impatient. I will get hard, like incredibly hard on myself. And I've started to narrow it down more, but at first I didn't realize how hard I was being on myself. Like I was really trying to prove myself because of a lack of validation, I had growing up that I wasn't giving myself now. And the inner child in me that felt so like different growing up, that didn't really know what I was good at. I didn't receive that validation. So I was just always like, what am I really good at? What am I here for? I didn't do well in school and things like that until college. And, I found a different learning style and understood like ADHD and other things more. But that part of me would start just pushing it, like all-nighters of like, let's make this script and let's make this script. And I would get very like perfectionistic with it and obsessive over making the manifestation happen. And it would become this competition with, I don't even know myself, right? And this forcing and trying too hard and trying to prove it. And then anything that went wrong that I would quote unquote see as wrong in my reality would be devastating. I would be like, oh my God, I have to revise this. And I would definitely exhaust myself. And, if you're someone that's gone through that, this is where that's okay, right? We can forgive and love ourselves. We haven't messed anything up. That's like these conditionings are going to come through so we can be like, oh, wait. Let's see what thoughts are making this an exhaustive process. Am I trying to prove something? Am I, putting my self-worth based on if I get it out here or not? Am I again in that conditioning that thinks I have to work really hard to get the best grade to make it happen because I wasn't enough, I was lacking somewhere, and that's why it didn't happen before? Different assumptions like that obviously lead to this overworking, overexerting. And it can make the idea of it's already done and just like relax into the certainty, it can make that so impossible. And so this to me is where we have to lovingly just be accepting with it. Like, okay, yeah, Yeah, I did that thing again. I was putting my self-worth out there. I was overdoing it, and I'm still whole and perfect anyway. It's been done the whole time, and I've been perfect the whole time, and I've done nothing wrong. And even when I do that trying thing again, then it's really just about whatever it is you need to hear from yourself or from others, an imagination. Again, the taste of comfort, the feeling of relaxation, like it really is done. Hearing from the people and seeing the people being like, yeah, no, it really is all done, but we're bringing it to you. You've done nothing wrong. Like, you can sleep easy. It really is taken care of. And the beauty of that is, like, as we calm that part of ourselves down, the inner child that, again, just where it was taught, like, I have to prove myself. I have to work really hard. Maybe I didn't get the attention or validation, and I'm still trying to, like, do that here. This is our opportunity to be like, truly, you've always been whole and perfect. You were never lacking. Those deep conditionings of you have to earn the money, you have to compete, you have to be the best in class, you have to be the prettiest, the strongest, the most worthy, the whatever it is, to get the love that you never got and the validation you never got. And that confusion, we can finally bring an end to that when we really take that younger part of ourselves and be like, you were always worthy of the love and validation. And I'm giving it to you right now. And a great example for this is if you have a child or a puppy or an animal or just something that you just love unconditionally, then it's never measured on what they did or what they didn't do. It's never measured on. Those things just don't matter. You just love them. Sure, you'll have preferences, like don't be on the carpet, blah, 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 but you're going to love them. You're going to love them so much. And I find that younger child needs so deeply that validation and that love. Like, it is yours no matter what. Here's the pony. Here's the awards. Here's the celebration. Give the younger child whatever they need. And when something goes wrong out here, get in the habit of taking that younger part of you and be like, this is just a moment for us to exercise our senses and get so good at this. Not to get it because it's already ours, but just to enjoy it now. We don't have to wait one more second. All right, so let's listen to this next part. Then we'll do some revision live again to bring it to a close. And yeah, as we do it, remember, nothing is wrong in the mirror. Whatever it's reflecting is what it's reflecting. Your wish fulfilled is yours no matter what. We're just getting the senses to generate it so you can get out of the waiting, getting out of the overexerting and proving yourself, because it's just a condition of lack, and that's okay. This is where we, again, mind your younger self, your adult self, all selves. You are whole, you are complete. You are not just this body. This is your whole reality. And the wish fulfilled is whole and complete, just like you are. It's happening. And it's actually yours right now, which is why you want it. You can see it. We're generating it. There's no lack. There truly is no lack. There's nothing to prove, nothing to gain. Even these imaginal generations of the senses, we're just remembering how to do it. They were built to do it. All right, let's go on.
Ensuring consequences without exhaustion. Another client, a high-powered attorney, speaks up, her voice sharp and clear. How do I ensure that those who cross me face consequences? I don't want to exhaust myself with constant revision, but I also don't want to let people get away with disrespecting me. You don't need to exhaust yourself, darling, you say, your voice a slow, seductive drawl. This isn't about doing more, it's about being more. You don't need to chase after people, to force them to respect you, to make them face consequences. You simply assume that you are the one who commands respect, that you are the one who is always treated with the utmost reverence. And when you hold that state, when you embody that truth, the world will reflect it back to you. Those who cross you will face the consequences naturally, without you having to lift a finger. Because the universe, your subconscious, will ensure that your assumptions are manifested in the most efficient way possible. You pause, letting the weight of your words sink in. Inner Conversation LLC 2025-72. Remember, feeling the reality of the state sought and living and acting on that conviction is the way of all seeming miracles. You quote Neville, your voice filled with a kind of authority that leaves no room for doubt. Feel the reality of being the one who commands respect, who is always treated with reverence, and watch as the world aligns with that assumption. You don't need to do more. You just need to be more.
Okay, so we're going to do the revision here, and I want to expand upon the being more. So I want you to take that younger child, the part of you that was taught to believe that the world was separate from you, that was taught to believe that you were this small, I'm just going to use like harsh words, maybe it didn't necessarily feel like this, but yeah, small, insignificant, powerless. I'm in this body, I'm stuck in this outside world that may or may not meet my needs, may or may not listen to me, may or may not respect me. Like none of that was a given, okay? May or may not understand me, it may or may not hear me, attune to me. I just take that young part of you that was really taught the conditioning of separateness. And I want you to hold them close, validate them, and I want you to congratulate them on how far they've come, that they're doing this with you now, even though they were taught the most, I mean, if you think about it, if you really are the entire world, you're the God of your reality, this whole world is you pushed out, and you were taught the most limiting assumption one could be taught, that you were just stuck in this body and this entire world and universe is completely separate from you. And yet you still have to go out there and like survive. Give yourself the recognition and the validation of like, and here we are. We've gotten to a place where we are remembering who we really are. Where we were taught this in our most impressionable ages and we saw nothing but proof of it for until now, maybe. And yet here we are remembering this. That is beyond extraordinary. And see if you can just give yourself a moment here to see that younger self. See them looking back at you. Hear them, hear their tiny, sweet voice. You know, maybe feel them, their little hand in yours, or them hugging you, or their little body. So cute. And you can just smell, taste, touch, just like the warmth of being with your younger self and the nourishment and the love and the protection that perhaps was lacking. And then the feel of that validation of like, can you believe we did this? In the most limiting circumstances, we have gotten this far to remember who we are and what we're here to do. That is extraordinary. And just take a moment to celebrate that with them and validate that with them and give them whatever words of praise, or if they're more of like they just need hugs, kisses, to party, to dance, whatever it is, just give them that for a moment right now. Breathe into it with them. Just let them celebrate with you and let them feel safe and protected and at home and validated. Like, oh, I knew something was up. That was crazy. Give yourself a moment with your younger self. And then we're going to remind them that to be more is not to do more. It's just to realize this is actually their whole world. Like they are the whole world. They are more than just that little body. They are the air, the sun, the trees, the sky, the weather. They're the people. They're the laws, they're the governments, they're the systems. No, let them brace for like, okay, maybe it wasn't how we wanted it to go, but we're changing that now because we actually are the only influence in this world. We are going to change all that. We have the power to change all that. And we don't have to do one thing out there if we don't want to. Not one thing. See if they can feel, and maybe just imagine, right, them feeling their aura, feeling their power spread back out of like, oh, I'm everything. I'm you, you're me. And maybe for a moment they want to share with you where they feel the most limited or exhausted, like where they feel the most, and probably where you in life feel like you have to revise the most, right? But like mom and dad don't understand me, or my siblings are really mean to me, or people at school are ignore me. Like, give them a second to kind of vent where they feel the most isolated, the most exhausted, the most disrespected for their power. Maybe they're just very angry that they never even received respect, because most children don't even receive respect, right? So give them that moment and that validation. And part of being more is right now with them, go ahead and say, we're going to use our imagination, which is what creates. And we're going to go ahead and give ourselves everything we want on every level. So through their eyes, through your eyes, wherever they feel the most disrespected, wherever they feel the most unheard, unsupported, 1 person, 2 people, a million's fine, 6 billion, go for it. Let them see and visualize respect. Their desires being heard and met and catered to. Let them hear it. What would we hear from these people if all they knew about was our desires and what we wanted, and they were just like, here, here, here? What would we smell? What trips would we be going on? Would we even be going to school? Where would we be going? What would we be eating for dinner, breakfast, lunch? Now that it's all your favorite foods, what would we be just touching and tasting in our body? What experiences does this child want to be having? If it's not like paperwork or whatever they had to do or chores, what do they want to be tasting, touching, smelling, feeling, hearing? I was so respectful of their desires and what they wanted. And you can allow this to be obviously as unlimited as possible. And that's what I suggest. But show them how they can see it. They can hear it. They can taste it. They can touch it. They can literally shape and mold with their senses their entire world. So take a moment to do that. Something that I remember, I will never forget the first time I felt the most intense, like in my gut, sadness and despair as a child. As I feel like I couldn't read yet, but I was reading a magazine, and maybe I was learning to read, but it was about lions going extinct at the time, or being endangered, and poachers. And I've had to revise that moment, and you might with your child, like these certain moments will come up and up again, of being like, no, we can actually change this. We're changing it right now. Because I remember that intense despair and desperation and depression as a child, that I was like, what is this feeling? This is terrifying. And so as an adult right here and now, to go back and be like, the reason that felt so awful is because the conditioning was, there's an animal that you love and adore more than anything. It seems like it's in danger and it feels like there's nothing you can do. And the reason that feels so awful, little one, is because it's not true. That's the really, really good news, is that terrifying feeling just means that's your indicator that you, who you really are, which is everything, including the lions, actually have the power to visualize and bring forth whatever it is you want. Lions are flourishing. Poachers are not in your world, not in your reality. And let that child in you feel not only ability to use their senses correctly, but to shift out of states that are so uncomfortable for a young mind. And then to remind them the reason we feel that is because it's an indicator from who you really are and what your whole world really is. So something that feels really awful and gut-wrenching like that is a brilliant indicator that your world, your lines, your desire is not only fulfilled, but it's like the opposite of that. Because your world always feels like fullness. That is your true state, because you are the entire world, not just this sweet, adorable body. You are this entire reality. And now the part of you, the younger part of you that didn't have an emotional intelligence or the ability to work through those big emotions, has guidance, has an outlet. And this is where I find a lot of trapped, frozen parts of me that felt the heaviest emotions. It was like, what do I do with this? Have made themselves clear. And through patience and work like this, it's like, okay, And from this place too, you really get clear on what your own personal paradise, if you will, looks like, right? If we are all here to be the authority of our reality, there's this brilliant opportunity to get clear on like, what does that actually look like to you? Down to the little specifics, right? And finding the desires, especially in that inner child's heart that was so clear, right? I do believe as children, we come in with such a clear desire of our world. And if you're doing this type of work, I'm going to assume, yeah. And so unfreezing these parts of ourselves and working with them is such a master key to complete authority and like the fun of it, and expanding our senses and what your unique tastes and desires are and how they are now always respected by the mirror. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you are bringing to life, and then see you for one more tomorrow. Okay. Oh, and go to the website if you would like to catch up via email for the upcoming course. And yeah, we'll go from there. Bye.